Hello everyone, I hope you enjoy your weekend so far. This is Sam Wong again from Finance Analytics Services team. Just trying to give you a recap on what happened last week to the stock market, but all three major indices overall were pulled back a little bit from record high. But that's not something too much to be concerned or worry. It's just not surprising about the Wall Street that investor worry about the inflation, which is something we've talked about months and months and months. And when when Powell was saying it's transitionary, which he, like I say in the previous video, if you heard, he never admit, but Powell come to realization in reality that this is not going to be transitionary. And again, by definition, what does it mean by transitionary? 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, right? So in the long gone history of the world and America, maybe the word transitionary in his view will be 2 years. So I mean, it's only like what 3 months or 6 months of inflation. So, but now he probably saying until next year, another 6 months will after that we'll see some relief of transition of the inflation. So whatever said is, hey, can poor people really survive another 6 months of things getting more expensive, 20% more, even though the indication or consumer price index showing only 6.08% higher. But definitely, if you go out to grocery, even a kid go buy something, he would say, "Why do things all suddenly so much more expensive?" And when you're saying it, it's definitely more than 5%. So not to talk about inflation because I spent hours talking about that and define that and provide history, in different countries and perspective on what are the theories that can drive inflation pressure down, but more focus on these stocks. So for this one, I didn't write the name. You guys probably can recognize and probably have a clue what that is. So this is Tesla. So in a week, you can see you have down 10% in a week. Really, the pressure coming down is because of the CEO Elon Musk that was saying 7-10% of his owning for tax purposes. So because of that, then other people normally just tap and follow along with this leader. So then overall you create such a dramatic pressure to over I think on Thursday was even more up to 12% at one point. So but you rebound back a little bit, so over 1,000. So I think this stock for the long view. Auntie was still saying that you're probably worth $3,000 per share, maybe 2025, right? When the green energy really go to no longer a dream but a reality, then these stock I can see a big adjustment and scalability again. You get to the how many car really on the street that have produced it from manufacturing. So besides Tesla, from those of you who follow my video know that I also recommended buy the BYDDF. This stock is actually have performed very well, and Warren Buffett also owned it years ago. Definitely see a big return. So they are profitable, unlike NIO Neo and XPEV. But although XPEV were kind of on track and the losses are kind of getting smaller, which is a big news. Again, these are all about scalability. So look at Tesla 1200, the lowest a year ago 400, another point 700. Let's say it's kind of high, but then you keep going up and you could hit the $900 back to at the time where they just first entered the Nasdaq index. But surely fair enough, it happened after the announcement of Hearst is buying the call for from Tesla, and then so really interesting story there. And the other one, which I have talked about it months ago, so you have to go back to my older videos. Blink. This is a charging station in California. Again, Biden administration $1 trillion part of was spent on infrastructure, and part of the infrastructure is to understand the green energy environment and the milestone at the future path. So you want to really creating some facilities ability that if you have an EV car, you're able to charge your car on a highway or somewhere, not not necessarily in just a major city. So this news of potentially passing the billion dollars. That's stimulating this stock, and you can see a month is actually create 37% return, and the high end was $65. So there's still a chance. My view is could push to $50, but after that, I can't guarantee you will be really hitting way up over over that, and the driving of really going up is because the earnings was really better than expected for Blink. You guys can go and look and research it, Google it yourself to read the details of the performance, which they are outperforming the estimates. The next one, Pinduoduo, for those who were looking at my video previous week, it was at $83.30 at closing bell Friday, the previous Friday. And fair enough, in 1 week, it's gone up 13% already. My rule of thumb is, remember, 20%. So I really hope with the double 11 now passed, and actually the revenue is still up for, I don't know about Pinduoduo, but Alibaba and JD, but were not as great as the previous year. Well, part of it's government subsidized and support with some coupons last year, driving the push, very strong market. And this year probably not as much, and they actually kind of do it earlier, not really on double 11 already. Start to campaign and selling with discount, just like a lot of we call Black Friday sales. A lot of company US now, JCPenney, Cole, Macy's, they already they already having the sales already. So the historical and typical what called double 11 on Black Friday wasn't really meant to be that traditional way anymore. They would do it early. It's just so that you really will have a bigger revenues, and that's maybe one of the justification why they can beat year after year in terms of the revenues on that specific event. So I'm still hoping this one will hit over $100. I mean, if you think about it, 20%, another 7% of this $95. Just do the math, right? Is about $100. Then the next one is Pricer, which is another one I talked about that. So again, this week actually is slide back a little bit from, but in a month perspective, since you really also have a gain for 20%. So all I'm trying to do to show you the story is the pick of the stock that I have with the volatility in a very short timeline. That's why you have to consider whether you're short-term player or long-term. You can profit very well with the one recommendation in a week, but of course there's some stock actually gone down pretty bad too. But most of the cases when I recommended it, maybe the ratio will be 80-20. Then if you get a 20, I'm sorry for you, but most cases should be pretty good. And this one, another SLQT, definitely will put in your radar if you buy it now. Their revenue were actually big, but then the profit actually lost more than what was estimated. But they really in a year, peak with $33. So 50% discount, you should be at $15, right? $16.50. If you're saying a lot of stock I've seen is actually 60% discount, which is 40% of the value. So you're still talking about $13.20. Now it's at $10.80. So if another 22 cents, $2 lush momentum, that will give you, if you do the math, that will be about another 10% return there, right? So, but once you hit there, I don't care if you go up back to $20 now. I probably will sell these shares, sell this stock and secure for that profit for very short time. When I say maybe another week or two. So the other one I also want to mention is robots. So robots, actually have done very well because of the announcement that they have. They beat the earning estimate. So they were in 1 week they were actually suddenly just skyrocketing up the announcement and have a return of 36%. I missed this one. I buy it, and it was sitting around $80 for quite a bit some time, and they IPO price at $70, FYI. So they actually now, because of their earnings, you really push, kind of surprise the market, and you push it at in a 1 year high, record high. So the other highlighter now, just to show you, I'm not going to show you all the three major index. You can Google and look at it yourself, but really all of them were slightly down, and not surprising that Nasdaq in the previous week Friday were actually reaching high. Then because of the Fed potential, which the meeting FOMC meeting talking about asset tapering, which not surprise the market. On top of the inflationary pressure, which really still the data showing that they're definitely there, and you really pretty significantly 6%. So the market have been really receiving that, and on top of the inflation, then you also get into the yield curve. The Treasury yield have jumped up to 1.7% compared to 1.5%. So then that becomes significant, and driving the stock Nasdaq will pretty go down to end of Wednesday up to this low point. Then Thursday and Friday have some good news in out there, and then you drive the market rebound for both three major index. So just to give you an idea of that. So now the recap, I'm gonna go for a few major items quickly. So in Europe, the stocks index edged lower in Monday trading. Asian market was in red, led by Hong Kong. The Hang Seng Index dropped 0.43%, driven from a tech giant and healthcare share. Tesla fell 4% as CEO Elon Musk to sell 10% of his stake in the electronic car. Caterpillar CAT stock rose 4.8%. Nokia symbol NUE stock rose 3.8%. US Steel symbol X stock climbed 4.7%, and other several companies trade higher from the perspective of boosted from Biden administration $1 trillion infrastructure package. The material energy sector on the body index also put in best performance on the section after House lawyer late last week approved the $1.2 trillion bill. Corporate and gold, FCX, environmental material VMC were among the biggest gain in the sector. Energy prices rises, so energy stock will benefit from it. United Airlines UAL, Delta Airlines DAL, and also American Airlines AL were up. Nvidia, which is symbol NVDA, climbed 3% after BMO upgraded the rating on stock to $375 a share from $250. And AMD also rose by 10% again to short their chips, and these chips stock and continue to rise into record high. The market pulled back after reaching record high. Tesla pulled back. Robots rose 42%, as what I have just showed you earlier. Producer price index report for October coming up 0.6%, which was in line with market expectation. China post-inflation data also shows surging. China consumer price index jumped 1.5% in October. Hang Seng Index, however, was up 0.7% Wednesday despite that news. And Chinese stock in U.S. market also up, especially Pinduoduo by 3.6%. All three major indexes were pulled back due to investor worry about inflation. As I showed you this particular slide in Nasdaq, particularly Wednesday, sees a steep decline. Tesla extended its decline on the German boost, adding a 3% decline. Stock 12% collapse on a week. GE saw as much as 7% before market open, as it's announced that they can split to three companies. Honestly, the splitting of a company, I don't understand why investors will be cheering and thinking, to buy and prices going up. The total balance sheet, the valuation of the company doesn't change. What they own is what they have. If you splitting company can make the company actually worth more, then all the company will do that and everybody will be rich, right? So this type of mindset, I'm not going to get into it, but people who are accounting, financial analysts, understanding that, maybe it's more a mindset of thinking they can be more focused of segment of profitable segments of development, and get more resources in the future of this split. Johnson & Johnson doing the same thing Friday when you announced a split in two companies. You rose 3% as well. Rivian's symbol RIVN, initial public offering price late on Tuesday 7/8, obviously closed at $130. It's the largest IPO since Facebook in 2012. Google has lost its appeal against $2.8 billion antitrust fine issued against it by the EU Competition Regulatory in 2017. Stock was down that day. In Asia, China's Shanghai Composite advanced a speculation policymaker with support struggling property sector. U.S. consumer price index went up 6.2% on year-on-year over basis, just like I covered you earlier. The dollar rose to the highest against a basket of major currencies since late July, while gold also at highest over around 1860 now for end of the week. Euro data on Thursday show U.S. economy slow in 3 months of September. While my lovely one Disney missed the earning estimate and share were down about bit of 12%, so I think it's deep to buy. I bought more after the market opened the next day. So the Dow Jones Industrial Average to slide about losing 214 points on Wednesday. Beyond Meat shares sank to their lowest price in more than a year after alternative meat missed the earning expectation. Same Pain stock rose 7.3% to 47.58, rebounding from its 21-day line. It may be come to consolidation around $48, so there could be a good entry point. So, but I really don't that's the technical analysis, by the way. So I really, unless you really predict and think that the market will be momentum and continue to push, my previous recommendation would still stay that I would look for same pin to pull down to $30 before, or maybe 35. Between 35 and 40 before I will enter the market for that. The reason I'm saying that you can look at the graph of how same pin performance before the earning announcement, after the earnings announcement, what happened the next month or so. And typically the graph will follow that. It will push it up in the momentum. After announcement, it went up a couple of days and then it will start to slide quite significantly for a month or so, which will decline back 20% back and pull back. So something to think about in mind. It doesn't mean it will happen again this time, but I just want to precaution you. But overall, I still think same thing is a good stock that I would like to have in my portfolio, but right now I just don't have any. I sold them all already. The University Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index fell to 66.8 from 71.7 preliminary November survey. All three major indexes closed higher Friday despite worry about inflation. Technology stock were pushed higher as big tech like Meta platform Facebook, which I recommended to buy. I still think you will hit back $380. If you hit $350 at this point, you bought $340. For short term, you can consider sell on. You can do stock options. Alphabet went up, rose more than 4%. Microtechnology, which is symbol MU, and ASML, symbol ASML, ranked up gains as well. Blink Charging again up 12%, as I explained earlier. Coffee prices also surged multi-high amid the controversial global supply headwinds. I love coffee, so there's a stock I will recommend to you that I see a swing. You can think about it buying it. Starbucks also you can think about, but again with the labor they're going to be increased to $17 a person. You have to imagine how expensive the Starbucks coffee. That you used to have now about $5 for the large size will go up to $7 in order to maintain the profitability. By the end of the week, Dow Jones pulled back by 0.6% slightly, ending 36,100.31, while Nasdaq down 0.7% and S&P 500 slipped 0.3%, ending 4682.85 compared previous Friday. WTI was down $1.11 or 1.4%, $80.48 per barrel. Even you slip down, still very strong. Part of the slide because of over forecast I told you in the previous video. If I told you that, right, saying, hey, I don't think the price will go up because people were estimating some unnecessary demand that not necessarily true. Coal prices also at 40% up in the past compared to the past month. While natural gas's price have lost 20%. So all this speculation again, driving the market up, and the traders know better, and then you can just slip it in, overnight to a couple of days. Even crude oil declined by around 1.5%. The stock market may be overbought, like at the beginning of the week and last week. So later people will profit taking. That's why you see the slide, particularly on Wednesday. But I still think, the market with the standard effect, which, fourth quarter typically is strong. You overcame the October curse, and you should potentially be driving it up, and probably the week of Thanksgiving, you'll be see the performing very good. But right now, though, they were concerned about inflation. Definitely everyone knows about that. But the market kind of digests the information for now. And also, you should see some consolidations. And you really should consolidate yourself too. So what I mean by that is, I actually currently my portfolio, which I think I have too many shares. When the market is deep, I put some limit buy, so you all hit the threshold. It's all buying into my portfolio, which was great, right? Because if we buy go up again, but because of that, now I have like on my portfolio, personal portfolio, I have 20 stock, and another portfolio I have 15. I actually need to cut it down to no more. I think the perfect number is not 5, it's too hard. Like I would say 7, definitely less than 10. Otherwise, it's just not gonna make yourself manageable, and also you may miss a lot of opportunities, and your investment too kind of too many kind of. Otherwise, you should go with ETFs or index, right? So, index fund. So that is why having too many too hard to manage. So it's a good time. Right now is perfect time to consolidate again. This is a good time. You look at your stock. Some of them may actually go back up again, rebounding because of the momentum. Even you still at a loss. If your loss is acceptable, which means somebody a lot of trading will set a tolerance of 5%. Well, 5% is kind of small unless you do option. Typically, people make a 10% window, because some stock can drop and very quickly. So if you look at your rebound back, your loss of 15-10%, I would recommend if you don't think the stock will be going up because you may say I made a mistake, you gotta admit it yourself. Then I will move on and sold that, and then put the money into somewhere else out of the 7 stock that you pick 5 to 7. You say these are the stock I believe in good, it will be the future I will invest in. So in my portfolio list, I told you that before, Chinese stock is on my list. Well, I'm not telling you to buy, be careful. Buy all 5 or whatever I set on the list, right? Which are Pinduoduo, Baidu, Bilibili, API, DADA, I don't think you can buy them, XPEV, BYD, BYDFF. I mean, the list is kind of too many, right? And yourself, you may actually have to pick the similar industry and just pick one. Then you probably end up at 2 Chinese stock, 2 to 3. Okay, that's fair enough, right? And then I already told you the travel and entertainment stock, which I don't mean you buy Royal Caribbean, CCL, and NCLH, right? That's the 3 of the cruise. You can just buy 1 cruise, right? And the airline, the AAL, American Airlines. I love United Airlines because compared to history, they still a huge discount at this point. So United Airlines, AAL, Spirit, you name them, and you can pick one, right? And then you're also in the retail business, which really just taking the momentum gain of the 4th quarter or the Christmas sales, then you can just look for, Gap, A&F, Target. I mean, you name them. You just think through that. And then out of the high test shares, you still want to have one like Facebook, Apple, or Google, or Amazon, right? I wouldn't Netflix. I wouldn't have all 5 of them, but at least probably have one of them. Then when you add them up, that's about and then also like I said, I bought Pricer, so you can look at Pricer, Merck. I don't recommend Moderna at this point, and Biotech, or maybe Johnson Johnson. Everything that's a future after the split, so that it will be make it up into chips are way too expensive. If you have a semiconductor chip stock, then maybe you can still hold it, don't sell at this point to enjoy the ride. But I would not enter the market, because you think about why would I sell it if 200 hit 225? That's just like 10+%, right? And then I saw it come back down, buy it again, sold it again. So I did it twice, and then I didn't even know you have $250 now, $300. So that's just over my expense. But I still make money regardless, right? Short term from the chips, and I don't look back. So this kind of portfolio, when you look at it, you will add up to 5 to 7, should be pretty good. And then I'm thinking about getting a Blink. I have Blink on my hand right now, right? Or also bowling too. Bowling or Disney, maybe you can pick one and hold for long term if you cannot have both. And Blink, I'm thinking of selling it. I have AI, I'm planning to sell it if we heat it up. I have FSLY, I already get rid of it, which you can see FSLY and BIGC have rebound very well. BIGC has sold them a long time ago, already when you hit about 55, which is now at 60, I believe. And then a few other ones, because BIGC have a very high volatility as long as FSLY as well. And FROG, I get rid of it a long time ago. I still have the BLZL, which is going to be for long term. That is a penny stock. I still have the JUVNF because it's just stressed so much that I will just wait. I'm not going to get rid of that one, but I'll get rid of the very, very good company, which recently changed to a new company label. And since then, it actually dropped 50% after the announcement. So I'll get rid of that stock. So, and then a couple other more small one, I will take care of that. So then that will consolidate. So again, just think about that importance of consolidation. It is a good time to pick a good one. Baidu, again, I think this is a very good start. I will do another video about that. I hope that, with the momentum, you will be picking up because they focus a lot more artificial intelligence now. And with the Chinese and American talk, Biden and Chairman Xi Jinping, this probably will go up to, hopefully will put another 10% with the, that's just a momentum move, for the Chinese stock. And then, I still think there are plenty of catalysts out there that will drive the market to be high. So right now, just enjoy the ride. Look through the fourth quarter, hold it tight. And again, applying the rule of 20%. If you're going to do short term, and for long term, don't worry about it. Just wait till what happened to probably beginning of the year. But bear in mind that last year, this year, if you look at the beginning of January, the market actually wasn't performing well. So I think you just have to think about the center effect to take benefit of it right now. If you have any questions, just send me an email. Hope you have a wonderful weekend and enjoy and continue to prosper and make more money in the market. Thank you.